All right, guys, what is going on this morning, today, this afternoon? I don't know what time you're watching it. I release them in the mornings. Today, I want to talk about my bigger overbuilt / oversized knives. I did a video recently, and a comment was I should do a collection of my bigger knives, like state of the collection, oversized state of the collection knives. So that's what we've got for you today, partially because I'm waiting on some shipments to come in for some regular reviews and things like that. And I'm kind of not as far ahead as I normally am and whatnot, but you don't want to hear about that. Let's just dive right into the Beg Knives Bugatti. I did talk about this in the other video, and I think that's why this comment came up, and here I am today to talk about. I've done a full video on, I think, as I'm looking around the table, all the knives that we're going to talk about today. I've done full videos. I probably won't link each of them. I think I have an Overbuilt playlist that I will try to link. But this is the Beg Knives Bugatti. So they took the bodega, which I didn't actually bring out here, and they just jumbo sized it. This was during the time of the Overbuilt knives. And some of the Overbuilt knives that come to mind are probably these guys and for sure this guy, right? So there was a time where Overbuilt was the thing. Everybody was making bigger, overbuilt, supersized knives. That appealed to me. I dove headfirst into that subgenre, if you will, collection. And I had a bunch of the big overbuilt knives. I had a ton of Medfords. I have a bunch of I have a few Phil Harveys, which we'll talk about here. I had a bunch of Reese Whelan, his fatty versions. I had the fatty slash, the fatty tonto, the fatty something else I don't remember the name of, but I don't have any of those anymore. I've sold a lot of them, but yeah, there you go. So Beg Knives, Todd and Mark came up with the idea and said, hey, we'll do a couple as a parody, as kind of a goofy thing to do and just to be funny. And it turned out that they couldn't keep them on the shelves. They were flying. Everybody wanted them. And I was fortunate enough to, after a year or two of talking Mark Beg into making me this one, he finally did. So true, total one-off. I think it's the only Dragon Lady bodega they did. It's the only black-bladed bodega they did, or Bugatti. I have the Dragon Lady bodega that matches this. So that's why this one was special to me, and I worked really hard to get it. So there's that. Everybody thinks of the Medford Praetorian as the quintessential kind of big, overbuilt, ugly knife. A lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him. Yeah, he's a polarizing figure. We'll leave it at that. I have a huge Medford playlist. I used to own a lot of them. We'll just say that I own 3 now for very specific reasons. This guy is the grenade tie that he made for a small group of us. There's a group called the OG 12 that I am part of. We are the first 12 that went to the very first Centurion event, and we asked him to make these for us, and he did, and he made a few extras and sold them. So I keep that because of the friendships that I built over the years with that group. This is the knife that we got at that very first Centurion event, the Marauder H, right when they were first coming out. And again, I keep it because of that group of friends. Okay, there you go. So since I've got the Phil Harvey Peacemaker on the table, I show it to you now with no fingerprints, mostly unmolested, because it's a fingerprint magnet. Crazy 2-something pounds. Let's just weigh it really quick. I don't know if the scale will show up on camera, but let's just take a look, because everybody always asks and I always forget. We'll close it for safety's sake. It's zeroed out. 2 pounds, 1.5 ounces. So just over 2 pounds. Yes, I have carried that in my pocket at a couple of different knife shows. And yeah, it certainly gets some attention, and it is a conversation starter. The blade has some damage here because I've done some action videos with it, if you will. It does cut a paper towel roll, even with its 3/8 inch blade stock. It is crazy sharp. It's not quite as sharp anymore because it needs a sharpening and it needs some of that edge fixed. But this thing is just a freaking beast. When Jim Skelton did a video on it, I kind of fell in love. He had a different one. And then my friend Valentino had one very similar in coloring to this one, I think. Pretty much the same. And I fell in love with that one too. And so in talking to Phil, I had an opportunity to buy it brand new from him. So I jumped on it and I did it. All right. So that was, I think, my second Phil Harvey. The first Phil Harvey that I got was the Gladius. And I've done a full video just on the Phil Harvey collection as well. So I'm going to kind of get through these quick. I got this from my good friend 50 Shades of Slash, JP. Big shout out to him. He has helped really, I want to say he's helped, but he's helped me spend a lot of money on knives from him and other people. This one is carryable. Okay? It is. And let's just throw this out here too, to just the Spyderco Delica, just to give you guys some reference as we're looking at these bigger knives. Yeah, it's a beast, but this is actually doable. And in JP's hands, it looks normal size. He's a bigger dude, and he can pull this off. Now, this one you gotta be careful with. Usually the claw method is the easiest for this one to unlock it, because the lock bar on these big knives is crazy. All right, since we're on the Phil Harvey, let's just not end it, but we'll finish the Phil Harvey collection with the War Crime. This one is ridiculously crazy. It is a flipper, and it actually flips very well. Okay? It's a crazy dagger style with 4, let's see if I can show it like this. So 4 different things. It's only sharpened on the front edge. The back edge is not sharp, but it does have 4 bevels, which is crazy. This one does flip. It looks like it's completely uncomfortable and just terrible to hold in the hand, but it's really not. It's not super comfortable, don't get me wrong, but the backspacer, you're not even really touching. You're not even touching the backspacer. This ginormous pocket clip, yeah, this thing's a beast. These aren't really made to pocket carry an EDC, but titanium frame locks, D2, steel lock bar inserts, big clips, like they're just cool. How can you not love these? I don't know. I can't not love it. All right. Let's talk about something really kind of different and unique for a minute, and then I've got a couple other ones to talk about. I am not a huge fixed blade guy, and this is more of a butcher cleaver something. And this is something that my dad made when he was, I don't know, high school-ish maybe, sometime in his teens, when he lived on a farm. And he made this to freaking work the farm. I don't even know. Little did I know that on his passing I would get this. I was not super into knives. I hadn't started my channel or anything like that. It's dull. It's just, yeah, it's a total worker. But I didn't know I was going to be into knives the way I am. So I'm really honored that I was able to get this at, his passing, right? It's rough. It's crazy. I've thought about maybe trying to get it sharpened. I don't want to refinish it. I want to leave it like it is. thought about having like a leather sheath made for it or something. Right now, it just kind of hangs out in a kitchen cabinet. Kind of display-ish, right? Okay, so what else do I have here on the table? I have the King Battle, okay? It's not as crazy overbuilt, but it's over a 4-inch blade. So some of these are just either thick blade stock or longer than 4-inch blades. So it's a 4.25-inch King Battle. Everybody's probably tired of seeing that one. So let's pull out the Tim Gallion XL Junkyard Dog 1 of 1, the Eagle. This thing is crazy. If you have not seen my video on this one, you are missing out. This is, I don't know. Not sure you can get much more of a perfect knife than this thing. It does need a sharpening. That I will say, and I'm afraid to send it to you. I don't even know. I'm not even sure how to go about that. But 11-stage automotive finish on the carbon fiber and G10 on both sides. It's just, this thing is crazy awesome. The pocket clip is slightly too tight for me. It works, but it's slightly too much retention. But this is a big knife. It is an expensive knife, and you don't want it to fall out of your pocket, and this never will. That's for sure. I love the thin blue line down the back spacer. If you can see that, it's just amazing. And somebody that's going to put a line down the back spacer better be centered, which it is. The action on this is just something I can't even explain. The first time I flipped it, I knew I had to have it and not send it back. And it runs on washers. This is phosphor bronze washers. Crazy, crazy action. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. All right, so we can't talk about big overbuilt knives without talking about Jeff VanderMulan. And let me move these over and we'll just talk about them real quick. I've got the double homicide. I've got the 1 of 4 homosauruses. And I have 6-inch instigator number 6. This was the first VanderMulan that I bought, was the double homicide. Very cool W2 blade steel with an awesome hamon, which is something that Jeff is pretty well known for, is that hamon that comes out great. This is the double homicide. There is a homicide and there is a little homie. So at some point, I need to either have Jeff make me a homicide and a little homie to match this guy and then change this one, or just get some. Do they have to be matching? Do they have to be matchy-matchy? I don't know. Matchy-matchy. That is my buddy Blades and Bullets, Eric. That is his coined phrase, the matchy-matchy. He's very big on matching his flannel. And I don't remember the name. It's a big popular name, flannel shirt with his EDC stuff. So a little shout out to my friend there. This is the Homosaurus. It's crazy. 5 3/4-inch blade. Carbon fiber, titanium, liner locks, Mokutai pocket clip. Yeah. Mokutai pocket clip. You'll see a theme. Liner lock. This thing I have also carried in my pocket for a show. Yeah, it gets some conversations going as well. It's just freaking crazy. And then he came out with the Instigator model. And he made a 6-inch version. And I'm not a Persian bladed guy, but this thing is just sweet. And this is brand new. He just made it. I just got this in late 2023. So it is kind of his newest, processes and things like that. And it runs a lot better than the Homosaurus. And it's just, it's easier to pocket, sort of. I mean, it's still crazy. Come on. But these are attainable, guys. These are like Jeff is still making these. He just posted number 7, and this is around $1,200. Like these are super obtainable. They're crazy big, but handmade 1x1 American custom knife for $1,000-ish with a 6-inch blade. Can you go wrong with that? No. Jeff has been really good to talk with. I asked him to make this to match the Homosaurus that I bought from JP, 50 Shades of Slash. So I sent him a picture and said, hey, can you make a 6-inch to match? And he did. And I think it looks great. Carbon fiber weave is a little different, but that's okay. I'm super stoked. I think it's awesome. And it 9 out of 99% of the time sits in the drawer in my office behind my desk. That's what we do as collectors. We collect things and we put them in the drawers, or we put them on a shelf, or we do something. But it's the joy of it. If you want to know more about collecting, I do have another video I just did just the other day. Might have come out the day that I'm filming this one, actually. I don't know. Where I talked about less friction and having just one knife to carry most of the time. And these aren't really in my mindset to carry. These I carry if I go to shows. I take them to show and tells, barbecues, things like that. But these are not in my normal daily rotation. But you go check out my other video on that. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one, just in case you want to go look at that one. All right? There you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what overbuilts I missed. There are a lot of them. DSK, Scorpion 6, Reese Whelan I mentioned. So there's a lot of these big overbuilt things. It's starting to make a little comeback, I think. What do you think? Is it making a comeback, or is it gone and should it go away forever? Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate it. Have a great day.